Interest rates are falling everywhere, and there are hardly any real interest gems left. Lendermarket is an exception. In recent years, they first built up a bad reputation, but now that has completely turned around, and combined with 16% interest per year, sometimes even 17%, everyone should take another look at Lendermarket to see if it might actually be worth investing here again now. What I mean by that, and everything investors need to know about Lendermarket, you'll find out now. So, a warm welcome to Northern Finance. My name is Alex Beck. Alright, let's start from the beginning. Lendermarket is now a regulated platform for P2P loans, operating under the supervision of the Central Bank of Ireland. It offers personal and business loans with interest rates of up to 18% per year, but on average, even in my own portfolio, it's 16%, which is what I actually earn. That's a realistic expectation at the moment. And what's interesting is that German investors are not subject to withholding tax here, thanks to the double taxation agreement between Germany and Ireland, which means interest is taxed at 0% in Ireland. And that's also the case for many other European countries. So Ireland is very advantageous in this regard. You can find more in the taxes chapter, which like everything else is listed in the video sidebar with timestamps. I've been invested here for a little over a month. I started with 1,000 euros and today I added another 500 euros. On my first investment, I received a 1.5% bonus, so that's an extra 15 euros, plus another 7.61 euros in interest up to today, which means an annual return of 16.6% without cashback, as you can see, which is very attractive. If you also want to invest here, then use the link below in the video description. On Lendermarket, it's not just the Credit Star group that finances loans here, as they do on Monofit or Mintos, but there are also other reputable lenders that are quite well known, like Credifiel from Mexico, whom I actually personally visited in Mexico City, where I was able to ask your important investor questions and got all of them comprehensively answered. And in my considered opinion, Credifiel has an extremely interesting and unique business model, one that's very rare and that I truly enjoy financing. They are a truly stable and reliable lender because they only issue loans to government employees in Mexican authorities and work very closely with them. The cooperation is actually so incredibly close that the loan amount is directly deducted from the net salary before it even reaches the employee's personal bank account. Combined with the secure income of government employees, this significantly reduces the risk of loan defaults, and I really enjoy investing in such loans here, currently at 12% interest. There is also the lender Dineo from Spain, as well as Rappi Credit from Colombia, currently offering the highest interest rates on the market at an average of 18%, as you can clearly see here on the statistics page, and the Credit Star group, which is currently paying an average of 15% interest on their loans here. I've also managed to secure a bit more here in some cases, but of course it also depends on the term, how long you want to commit yourself here. Those who invest in longer term loans naturally earn more. All lenders offer a buyback guarantee, and with Credit Star there is also an additional group guarantee in place. However, it's very important to note that for all loans with relatively short terms, these can also be extended if absolutely necessary. Yes, that's indeed very important if the borrower truly wants it. This means that a loan with, for example, a 30-day term, which is relatively short, can be extended up to 6 times, each time by 30 days. So up to 180 days in total, meaning extensions for up to half a year are possible here. For this, you continue to receive the same interest rates as before. And since we're already on the topic of interest, which is of course very important, I have carefully read through the terms and conditions of the loans here at Credit Star, as well as those of all other lenders, and it is also stipulated here that there are default interest charges. It's very important. If you don't receive your money after the loan term ends, the default interest rate at Credit Star is 17.25% per year, and at Dineo it's 12.2% per year. This interest rate applies from the very first day of default and will be paid out to you on top of the repayment amount plus the interest accrued up to that point. For example, if you invest in a Credit Star loan with, let's say, a 60-day term, and after 60 days the loan is not extended but instead is paid back 5 days late, then you receive 17.25% default interest divided by 365 days. That comes out to 0.0472% default interest per day multiplied by 5 days, which means an additional 0.23% on your investment on top of the agreed interest that was already due. If that changes, you can always check it yourself for each loan, and by the way, registering here on Lendermarket was very easy and done within a few minutes. With the free deposit of money via credit card or debit card, your money is immediately in your account and can start working for you. The website is generally designed to be very simple and intuitive. You can immediately find everything you need, and of course there is also an auto-invest feature, a tax report, and the website is available in many languages. The only feature currently missing is a secondary market. So unfortunately you cannot sell your loans to other investors here before the end of the term. I made my first investments manually, and as you can see here, I spread them across several countries within the CreditStar group to achieve broader geographic diversification, and this was also very quick and easy. In doing so, I invested in loans with terms of up to a maximum of 2 years and received high interest rates for them. If we take a look at the loan offers and set the filter to 30 days, we see that we can get a maximum of 12% or more likely 10% interest for this short term. So that's the range. At least 10% up to a maximum of 18% interest is currently possible on Lendermarket, and since I like passive income and prefer not to do everything manually, let's set up the auto invest feature now to take care of the work for us. To do this, we simply click on the Auto Invest icon located here in the dashboard, and then we can clearly see the portfolio that was automatically created, which is the sign-up bonus portfolio. And above that, there are 2 pre-made strategies and also the custom portfolio. Let's proceed to click on that now. First, you can give it a suitable name and then determine the maximum portfolio size that can be effectively reached here. After that, we set the investment per loan and the interest rate. I want to have at least 16% now and play around a bit with the loan term here, and during this the number of matching loans is constantly displayed at the bottom, so I can quickly check whether my own preferences actually match up, whether such loans are available or if I'm just building castles in the air. After that, we also select the lenders we want to invest in. For example, I now want to include all except say Rappi Credit and Neo here, and then I confirm everything, activate it, and that's it. Now my money is working for me, and you can also see the whole thing listed as active below, and the matching loans are always displayed. This way you can quickly see whether more loans can still be purchased here or not. With that, let's move on to the big elephant in the room, Lendermarket's past. Back in 2022 there were problems here with investor repayments, but today there's been a major turnaround. What happened back then? It wasn't just about the money from CreditStar, which investors had to wait significantly longer for than originally promised, although penalty interest was of course charged and duly paid for that, but apparently there were also numerous IT systems on the platform that simply didn't function properly at all. That's why the so-called Lendermarket 2.0 was launched, and since then reviews on Trustpilot and similar platforms have become significantly better, and interest payments are being made to investors as they should be. There are investors who have not yet made this switch. You can't be forced to do so, and they seem to continue having problems. But everyone who has switched is receiving their interest as promised, at least according to what I've read in the reviews and also from what I've heard from many people in our own community here. The largest lender on Lendermarket is and remains CreditStar, even though some other lenders are now also active here, and their figures in the latest annual report are very solid, very positive. As you can see here on page 24, the profit was a strong 8.1 million euros last year. This report has also been audited. Getting 17% interest or more for this is pretty remarkable, especially in these times of generally falling interest rates in the market, not just for savings and fixed-term deposits, but also for P2P loans. And on top of that, there's also the fact that many P2P lending platforms like Robocash and Peerberry have built up more than enough investors in recent years, and due to the inertia of many investors have kept cutting interest rates further and further and further. On Peerberry, you currently only get single-digit interest rates, even though, in my opinion, the transparency is significantly worse than on Lendermarket, since Peerberry can't even provide an audited annual report for its most important loan originator, the Aventus Group. Therefore, I much prefer to invest my money here on Lendermarket, given that you get double the interest compared to what you get elsewhere with less transparency. And that's also the reason for me why there's a turnaround here, why I simply invest my money on Lendermarket, because the platform had problems in the past, but now it has solved those problems. It has very solid finances in the background from the companies and offers some of the highest interest rates on the market. That's why I invest here. For me, it's a gap I want to take advantage of. And if you want to do the same, you'll find the link in the video description below. And that brings us to taxes, because anyone who makes profits also has to pay taxes. As mentioned, Lendermarket is based in Ireland, it's a regulated platform, and if you're in Germany, you pay 0% withholding tax. We've also created a table where you can see how much you pay in some other EU countries. Feel free to hit pause if you're interested. Even if no withholding tax is deducted, you still have to declare and pay taxes on the interest yourself. In Germany, the first 1,000 euros of interest and dividends per year are tax-free, but if you live abroad, this may be different. If in doubt, ask your tax advisor. So that's what the tax situation looks like. You can also easily generate a report here in any language, which is very straightforward and convenient. So let's draw a conclusion. Who is Lendermarket actually worthwhile for? Lendermarket can be worthwhile for you if you want to earn higher returns and are willing to invest your money here for a bit longer. About 1 to 2 years should be realistic. My investment period is exactly that long, 1 to 2 years here for the loans. And if you want to earn 16, 17 or 18% interest, then you also have to be willing to commit for that long. Otherwise, you'll only get around 10 or 12%. The platform can be especially worthwhile for you if you're dissatisfied with the returns from other platforms or other investment opportunities. There are really only very few options on the market that offer such high returns while also having strong profitability in the background. Of course, this investment also carries its risks, that's clear, but in my view, those risks are well compensated. That's why, after just 1 month, I've already invested 1,500 euros and plan to increase that to at least 5,000 euros by the end of the year. Very likely even a bit more. After all, a high return really acts as a turbocharger for your passive income and can help you achieve financial freedom and independence several years earlier than would otherwise be possible. But Lendermarket is definitely not for you if you're looking for high security and immediate liquidity. This is very important to note, because you simply won't find that here. In that case, other providers like Monofit or Bondora Go and Grow are clearly the better choice. However, for those who are willing to lock away their money for a longer period, in my opinion, you can currently get top-notch interest rates here. Personally, I really like that reviews on Trustpilot and similar platforms are now significantly better than they were a few years ago, back when they had issues. From my perspective, this presents an opportunity to snag juicy interest rates, which are likely to remain high for the foreseeable future, since many investors are slow to switch platforms. So I'm benefiting from this and can now lock in juicy interest rates, and if you want to get them too, just click the link below in the video description. What's your opinion on Lendermarket? Would you invest here or not? Let me know in the comments below. I look forward to the discussion, and with that I wish you good returns and see you next time.